Hello everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday Sherlock review with me, John Parker, and
Me, Jack Cowling, and
Me, Cody Chronotis.
it is great to have you with us again, Cody, for your very first TV review, I believe,
in particular with Sherlock.
in Sherlock. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we are giving our series review of Sherlock Series 4, mainly because we was originally going to do each individual episode because of BBC's scheduling. Unfortunately, we couldn't. Therefore, in this video, we're going to give a brief summary for each episode, very, very brief, and then like a series overall plot, and then we'll go on, talk about character development, and then give our final verdicts. Series 3 began where we left off at the end of Series 3, and sort of with the New Year's Day special in 2016, because the
That was
2016...
Dutch and drug-induced stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah, the going back to the 1800s. Personally,
Yeah, that was just all in his head.
Yeah, and honestly, I was like, oh, well, that's disappointing. But anyway,
I don't think we can really class that as canon. Well, it was
You
canon.
can, though.
I thought, yeah, but it's more like it was more like an extra little tidbit, basically as a teaser in a way of what kind of writing is going to come up.
Well, no, Cody's got a point with that, because
It leads on to episode 1, because it explains
Yes.
why Sherlock is off the plane, why Moriarty's sat there going, I'm back!
yes, yeah. So yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. So we begin where we left off after Sherlock had actually shot the man in the end of Series 3, whose name we have unfortunately forgotten, but never mind. And everyone has done what they can to hide that fact, as of course the
Using
imposing
footage.
yes, as of course the imposing threat of Moriarty has come up. Therefore, they need Sherlock to, as he likes to say it, get the game on. But in the very first episode, that threat is kind of hyped at the very start, and then it kind of like dies down.
Yeah, it fizzles out, doesn't it?
Yeah,
For now.
very quickly actually. As in the meantime, Sherlock investigates a mysterious case where Margaret Thatcher stone heads are being smashed around the country. Only to find out that many years ago, the Agri Team, one of the team members in particular, which also involved Mary. I think she also had like her real name was something that which I can't remember.
She was the R, wasn't she? Wasn't she? Was it Rosa? Was it
Rosamund?
Rosamund? Yes.
Yeah, that's why they named
Rosamund Mary.
kid Rosamund.
Yes.
It was Rosamund Mary, and she liked the Mary in a middle name, and I think that's why she made itself Mary by default.
Yeah, so she was part of that team, and one of the other team members survived, I think it was like an explosion on a mission they were on. And this individual actually managed to hide the USB stick, which Mary had, which Sherlock destroyed in Series 3.
Right?
Yeah. He had one as well that he actually hid in one of the Margaret Thatcher heads that was kind of being modelled.
It wasn't Sherlock that destroyed the USB. I think it was John, because he threw it in the fire. Didn't want to read it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was either John or Sherlock. I can't remember.
I think it was John.
So after that comes out, obviously Sherlock discusses it with Mary, and then Mary goes off on her own to try and fix a certain, I suppose you could say like a broken heart in a way from this particular team member, as he believes that she abandoned him and everyone else. As it turns out, I think the real reason as to why the team became compromised was because one of their own, in like, I think it was like headquarters, well, it wasn't actually headquarters, actually gave them false information, and therefore the whole thing just went. Although who actually did that wasn't revealed until the very end of the episode. It was actually the receptionist, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I think so.
Yeah, that little old lady who looked very innocent.
It turned out she was the one who gave the false information to the Agri Team. Reasons, I can't actually remember what the reason was.
I think wasn't the reason like really stupid.
Was she jealous?
I think she just wanted to get rid of them. I think it was. I think the plot point is that Agra was not good.
Yeah, not a good
she wanted them out the way, and so she's like, "Oh yeah, go and do this," and then she tips off the people that capture them that they're coming.
After Sherlock managed to discover who actually it was who caused the problems in the first place, there was actually one of them lot, although he didn't actually know who it was, and that's why Mycroft put that woman into arrest, because
and then Mary said, because Mary said, receptionists know everything.
Yeah.
And it triggered his mind. He was like, wait, it wasn't her, it was the receptionist.
Yeah. And therefore, obviously, Sherlock tracked her down, and she was in the aquarium. And unfortunately, at that point is where she, Sherlock, Mary, Mycroft, and the police force come and try and take her alive. But unfortunately, she has other plans, and therefore, when fires the bullet, Mary jumps in and actually takes the shot. And unfortunately, loses her life in the process.
And not only that, but strips Dr. Watson and Sherlock's relationship a bit. Yeah, the friendship relationship, yeah.
Well, that kind of, from that moment, is what kind of defined episodes 2, mainly episodes 2, and a little bit of 3, although 3 wasn't that bad.
I don't know. I think 3, their friendship had basically healed, but 2 was basically the rebuilding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because on episode 2, we then start to see the fact that he's now basically doesn't want to talk to Sherlock at all. And you've got where the kid gets sent to what's the faces?
The kid is being looked after by Molly because John, I guess, can't deal with it.
Yep. And from what we found out towards the end of episode 2 was that Sherlock's condition, as he had gone back to the whole drug addiction, he was actually working himself up to the point of death. So
it got really serious,
Dr.
didn't
Watson would actually come to his rescue, and that was Mary's request in the actual disc, the actual.
So he purposely did it to himself. That's a bit sad, to be honest.
A little bit. And I will be honest with you. Episode 2, I had a lot of problems. I had a fair bit of problems with.
It was very all over the place. I mean, you had Culverton Smith, and he was crazy. I liked his character, but it was so mad, and the stories were jumping about. But it was fun. You know?
Yeah, but you know the whole kind of drug part where his head was the whole room was spinning and whatever. There was too much of that. There was like, all right, I get the point. Move on. Right.
We're aware that he's currently going insane. You don't have to keep on about it.
Too much about how Sherlock was overdosing and not enough about the plot point where he was trying to reveal that this guy's a fucking psychopath.
Although perhaps it was a good story to say, don't do drugs, kids.
The one thing that got me though at the beginning of episode 2, which is actually a major part of episode 3, was what was her name? We know her name was Euros. Yes, I know that, but Faith.
You mean
Faith?
Yeah.
You see, the start of the episode where he was trying to tell him a secret, but give him the drug that would make him forget, that was great. But then we got to the part where Faith comes in, who actually wasn't Faith, to try and talk about that. It was that part in particular that didn't make any sense. Because if later on we found out that she was Euros, then how did she know? But there's a lot of missing links between episodes 2 and 3.
I think it got explained.
Did it?
Yeah.
Originally we saw her.
Euros got given the information she needed by Culverton Smith. I think that was explained.
See, but
I'm sure they cover it.
Unfortunately, that part I've actually forgotten. So, moving on from there, after Sherlock literally went to hell, as Mary told him to go, literally, Dr. Watson then came in to practically save his life from Culverton Smith, who turned out to be a serial killer who simply, as he put it, loves to kill. Now, that plot in particular would have been great, but I feel like they actually did rush. Going back to a point I said originally, I do feel like they kind of rushed that plot line in a bit too quickly.
Yeah, the problem with Sherlock being only 3 episodes every series is Culverton Smith, right? They've got Toby Jones, who is a bloody good actor when he's playing bad guys, and they do, because Sherlock is literally only 3 episodes a season. They couldn't really
stretch his
character.
No.
It would have been nice if they had dedicated this entire series to the mystery of Culverton Smith, and then they could have kept the entire Eurus plot point to another series, and then give them something to actually continue.
Yeah, or at least start the Euros thing on episode 3, and then finish it in series 5. That would have been a good way of doing things.
Yeah,
but
it would have kept it going.
Yeah, I see how you're saying they've rushed it, but again, that's because they only do 3 episodes a season. If they did like 9 episodes, for example, they could have based 3 on this one guy.
Although I will say one thing, I've just remembered, Culverton Smith's character. I mean, did you see how the way he was like strangling Sherlock at the end? He was really, the actor was really into that role. Like, do you remember what he was saying?
Yeah,
like, look into my eyes.
Like
I want to see.
I said, Toby Jones is a good psychopath.
I got really scared. I was like, wow, this is really good. You know. So yeah, they did a really smashing good job on that character. I really enjoyed Toby's character.
Episode 2 was perfectly fine. It was perfectly fine. It was a good story. It was brilliant. I just feel like it was a little bit rushed. That's all. I'm not criticising.
I agree completely. I do agree.
So
at least 2 episodes worth. It should have been.
Yeah.
So after that kind of relationship was more or less kindled between Sherlock and Dr. Watson, we then moved on to episode 3, where it is revealed that Sherlock actually has a
sister. Well, it was revealed
a secret sister.
You know,
yeah, more or less. We now find out that Sherlock actually has a secret sister that has been kept and locked away for many, many years. And it turns out that the personality of Euros is actually the person that Sherlock actually is. Because the memories that he had of his sister, which he's forgotten of, actually is what made him who he is today.
Yep.
In particular in the modern series anyway. I'm not sure about the originals, but that's a whole different other story. And not only with that, but we also discovered that Moriarty actually is physically dead.
Yep.
But through the art,
I had plotted against him.
Through the art of video, they made it look like he was coming back. So basically, it was one psychopath after another psychopath, in a way. Euros, in particular, was kind of given as the one who. How would you describe? How would you two describe the character of Euros?
Cynical, extremely clever, and deadpan.
Specifically insane. When she shot the woman, most people would have expressed some form of emotion.
She's just like, hold on a second, bang. You were saying?
Basically, you're saying that she's an expressionless kind of character. Just things on the top of her head. Yeah.
Yes.
That's definitely the impression that she gave to me as well. But also, I think because of how long they've been away from each other, she wanted to kind of push Sherlock's emotions to their ultimate limit. So basically, threatening the life of someone who he holds dear, in this case, Molly. Which I actually kind of knew. I knew for a fact there was not going to be a bomb anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't
know. I thought there was.
No, I knew it would be impossible to plant any kind of device like that there. Also, there is one thing I did not like about her character that they kind of created. The fact that she has mind control abilities.
Well, no. That wasn't an ability as in like terms of powers. It was. She just had the ability to talk to them and using certain phrases trick people into doing it.
Yeah, but Johnny, when it comes to crime and detective television shows, those kind of things aren't actually logical.
Some people have that manipulative ability. They're able to implant things into people's brains. Effectively, it's hypnosis. Not hypnotics. Effectively.
I don't think they were trying to come across as let's think of an example. I don't think they were trying to say, oh, she's like Kilgrave from Jessica Jones. I think what they were trying to say is, you know how the people that work for the police that talk people out of suicide,
Yeah.
they need to be very good at talking to change someone's mind.
Yeah. So
True.
she was basically.
I think that's how they were saying, oh, she gets in your head.
And do remember, Jack, that she was extremely clever, and she had this ability, as they were just trying to explain in the episode, with only being a few minutes in contact with that person, she had the ability to use specific wording to entice someone into doing something. Even if it's illogical to them, even if it's illogical to them to do it, she has a way of making them feel, oh, no, this is the right thing to do. And therefore, she was able to take over the facility because she was able to say to the main boss, do this, do that, do the other, using her own wording ways, and effectively became ruler of the facility without them properly even knowing about it. It was pretty much subliminal messaging through her hypnotic abilities, through the way she was speaking, the things she was saying. It's really quite clever, and it is possible, but I don't know to that extent in real life. But
I just didn't find
certainly,
that.
I think it is possible.
Well,
But,
good luck with me, because it would never work with me. I don't know. It's hard to say about that.
There is an extra thing I just want to talk about because it's been slightly bugging me. It could be just because I'm not picking up on the storyline, but
Yeah.
we at the end of the episode of series 3, we see Euros inside that the house, wasn't it? Was it the house? In her bedroom or something?
Yeah.
How on earth did she get there? Was there? Because I don't remember seeing her go from the facility to.
Because
no, that's a good point.
In that entire scene, Sherlock blacks out because she knocks him out.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you have to ask yourself as well, how did John get to where he got to, and how did Sherlock get to where he got to, and where was Mycroft put? Because we don't actually see that.
Oh, because we never saw her face again while she was talking through the ear things, did we? When they were in the graveyard area where Sherlock was, and we didn't see her face. We only heard her over the ears, didn't we? And because she was inside the bedroom at that point.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying now. Yeah.
Because that makes sense now. Now that you've reminded me that they do black out, and that there's a gap where she could have
there's
position.
A complete blackout, and then you've got to wonder how John and Sherlock got to where they were as well.
The girl on the plane was another thing as well.
Yeah, how on earth did they? If that was meant to be her, how on earth was he speaking to her?
Don't know. I think that's something else that wasn't actually real. I don't think the whole plane deal was actually a real thing. But
you had John in the room. You had Mycroft in the room. They could all hear them.
I think what it boils down to could be a recording. I think.
Well, perhaps, but it was meant to be her. So what's she doing? Recording her kid saying what she's thinking? I don't quite get that. I don't think that plotline was properly described.
Again, I don't think it was either. What do you think?
That's a little bit confusing.
That actually makes me think of something that I don't quite understand.
What's that?
If Moriarty was taken to where Euros was before he died,
yep.
We can assume that series of events took place between Series 1 and Series 2.
Approximately. 5 years it was.
Yes. Yep.
Now,
right.
How come Moriarty, being the absolute psychopath he is, didn't go, I know something you don't know, Sherlock? Because you would imagine if you had that piece of information and Sherlock didn't know, you would be a dick.
Yeah, particularly if you know you're going to die.
Talking about as well. He would have all of the incentive to mess with Sherlock because he doesn't know.
Yeah, because he knows the plotline, what's going to happen when he dies.
But he didn't.
But he didn't say anything.
Now, that could be because, yes, Euros can control people, and maybe she had made it so he didn't.
Secret.
I don't know about that, because like Sherlock, Moriarty's not the one to kind of be controlled by others. They have that kind of mental
But then again, Moriarty was already interested in doing that to Sherlock anyway. Perhaps
True.
he was able to prevent himself from doing that. Or we might have missed something in what he said. Either way, we've got to speculate there anyway, because I do believe
so
this plot line was formed after those episodes. So
Yeah.
Because I don't think between series 1 and 2 and the start of 3, Mark Gatiss and Stephen Moffat went, in years to come we should introduce Sherlock's secret sister and brother. You know.
If they did, they'd be really clever writers, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but I wouldn't give Stephen Moffat that much credit, but anyway.
Talk about story arcs then. But I know Stephen Moffat's good with story arcs, but that would be ridiculous.
Stephen Moffat's done similar before with Doctor Who, but you can always play that off as, it was a coincidence because it's Doctor Who.
Okay, well, overall, folks, that's more or less each individual episode as briefly
as an overview.
As briefly put as we could possibly humanly do it, because regarding Sherlock, there is a lot that you need to look at and kind of analyse. It's not like Doctor Who or any other TV show. You have to kind of deduct a few things in this show. But overall, the whole kind of theme and plot of the entire series has a lot to do with family. That's how I feel the series kind of
family relationships
yeah, and testing one another's strengths as to how far they'd go to kind of do what they do for their loved ones. So that's my.
And also, I thought it was really kind of sweet that Molly and Sherlock said "I love you," even if it was on force.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that. All right. So, I suppose with all that in our minds now, John.
Yes?
What would you give the series overall?
That is a very tough question to ask, because it was such a varied series. And, as I've already brought up all my points of what I liked and what I didn't like, but to give an overview, I would say that while the storyline was a bit dodgy at the end, I think I would give mine a solid 9.5.
9.5? Okay, fair enough. Cody, what would you give? What would be your verdict for the series overall?
I'm trying to think, because I mean,
there's a lot to process.
It's a slightly unrelated note, but I don't watch many television shows sort of religiously. But when it comes to things like Doctor Who or Sherlock, I sort of sit down and enjoy the episodes, whether sort of the reviews from other people are saying, "Oh, what's the point?"
Yeah, I don't follow reviews from other people. I give my own verdict. So,
I think because it's one of the few television shows I actually watch, and I did enjoy every episode as it came through. I mean, thinking back on them now, there's stuff that
didn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. But at the time of watching each episode, when the episode finishes, you don't think about that, and your instant reaction is, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
So I think I'm probably going to have to give the series as a whole 9.5.
9.5? Okay. For me in particular, regarding everything, I mean, there was a lot of a good deal of tension and suspension in the suspense in the entire series in each individual episode. Despite part of stories that didn't really make any sense, they still gave you the good the good feeling you normally have. The feeling where you don't want to look away because you might miss something.
Yes.
And even in your own mind, you start to think, well, what's going to happen when they do that? Or you try and tell the characters.
Or you work it out in your head.
Yeah. So I think overall, thinking about all that, I'll give it. I think I'll have to give it an 8. I'm going to give mine an 8. I'm going to stick with an 8. So,
and do you remember, guys? Sorry, Jack. There's another thing I'd just like to quickly say. I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but on the videos recently, I've been putting the polls on the YouTube cards. So I'll be doing the same for this video, obviously, because we've given verdicts on it. So if you want to give your own generic verdict on what you thought about this episode, whether you liked it, whether you thought it wasn't the best one, you loved it, disliked it, hated it, kind of thing, you can do that now by selecting an option on the poll, which should have appeared approximately now in the video. So please do that, because we do look at those polls. It is interesting to see what people think.
Cody, thank you very much for joining us for our TV show review. This actually, no. This is our first series overview review, I think. Isn't it, John?
Yeah, we normally do it one by one, don't we? But
Yeah,
due to
but
the scheduling, we've had to do this. So yeah, this will be our first.
This is the first time we've actually done a series overview, as
Particularly
a trio.
Sherlock, yeah.
So thank you very much anyway for joining us. So folks, until next video, do take care. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you very soon.
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.
Thank you folks for watching. If you enjoyed, do please leave a like or comment below on this video.
If you want more, on Jack's side is the last video and the recommended video that we've suggested to you.
To stay tuned for more, on John's right is the link to our channel so you can subscribe, and also we have a link to our website if you want more information about who we are and what we do. Until next time,
Take care, stay safe,
and remember,
let your geeky side out. Bye bye, guys.